Hi there, my name's Mason, and I work here at Legacy. I recently got married, and, well, I don't have oodles of cash to spend on nice furniture that will last me forever. So, working here, I decided I'll just make some. Now, today we're going to be building this dining chair, at least starting it. This was designed by my grandpa Andy. He designed it back on the Arties. So, 2x2 frame, which is why it's so small. So we're going to be redesigning it and making it slightly taller. We're going to change this backsplat to fit more of my design and my style. We're going to be adding some carving here in the fronts, on the legs, and to all of the rails. So today we're actually going to be starting with the back leg. Now, the back leg poses a few unique challenges to the other legs in that we have this giant pocket right here. And this giant pocket is where this longer back rail sits in. And it sits in with a tenon and then a mortise actually on this back tenon that this side tenon goes through. So it's very complicated, but very strong, very structurally strong. So the thing about the back leg is that there isn't really going to be anything super special or modified other than the length. So let's start cutting. The first thing, other than machining the blank square, is going to be machining some relief holes for the large pocket that we're going to be doing pretty close to the last. And that's to prevent tear out. When I first did this part, I had no relief holes, and the surface finish was nasty. Ended up with a lot of tear out on a few of the corners. And so luckily I work here, and so a lot of people are very kind, and Chris showed me how to add machine holes at two specific positions in order to minimize the tear out on the part. And so using those two makes it a very clean finish at the very end. The next big challenge here is the carving. Originally we had done this as a swarf cut, but the swarf cutting method ended up being more complicated than was worth. And so we swapped to carving and got almost identical results, and it was even a little bit faster. So while swarf cutting has its place, sometimes it is really just easier and simpler to carve. You don't need to get fancy with it. The carving was done with a 1/2-inch deep core box, and it did both the clearing and the actual carving itself. And the surface finish is fine. You know, it'll need a little bit extra sanding compared to the swarf cut, but it's honestly not much more than I would expect. Now, the only other challenging aspect of this is the tenons. Getting the tenons lined up on the correct side. As they are left and right, it's very easy to put them on the wrong side and completely end up with a garbage leg because it won't face the correct direction. After that, we end up using the same 1/4-inch cutter that we used to do the mortises, basically a cut along the outside of the blank. And that gives us alignment for when we want to cut the edges off so we can get a perfectly sized blank every time. Helps a lot with making sure that all 4 legs are consistent and so that we don't have a wobbly chair. And so just like that, we end up with a nice walnut leg. Turned out pretty good, if I do say so myself. And that's it. That's one of the first and most complicated parts in the build done. Now, the next things that we're going to be doing are the side rails and then the front and back rails. Now, the two most complicated pieces that remain are the side rails and this top headrest. The reason being that these side rails have compound angles in them meaning we have to be pretty precise with our vertical vise in order to get the correct angles so that this chair lines up nicely. Second most complicated bit is this here. Because of the very little flat surface area, it's going to be hard to hold down. And then we also have to machine the backside to get the sliding dovetails that line up on these legs. But after that, it's smooth sailing. So, I'll see you next time.